Democratic Visions is handmade in Eden Prairie and Minnetonka by DFL Senate District 42.
On Tuesday, June 30, the Minnesota Supreme Court ruled that Al Franken won the U.S. Senate race. Norm Coleman conceded the election, and speaking to the people of Minnesota, Al Franken thanked Norm Coleman for his gracious concession. Now this is as courtly and as polite as the Republicans have ever been to Al Franken. So Jeff, why did you decide to do your Al Franken video last summer?
Well, lack of courtliness last summer.
Well, what was going on?
It was, if you remember, totally toxic. The attack ads on Al Franken were obnoxious, they were unfair, they distorted his character. Some of them, I thought, verged on obscenities, talking about rape and all this sort of stuff.
I do recall that.
Yeah, I was just offended by it. So me and my family went out and did a video and posted it on YouTube.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
Can we watch it?
Well, why not? Sure, here it is.
Thanks.
Sometimes I've gone too far. Sometimes I've gone too far. I've gone too far.
Too far? Jokes about rape? Columns of pornography? Profanity-laced tirades? Physically?
I'm Jeff Strate. I live in Eden Prairie, and I found the attack ads on Al Franken to be, well, awful. I've met Al and his wife Franny a number of times and found them to be very good people. Al is a guy who has taken on the powerful and bogus with vinegar, humor, and insight. Mark Twain, Molly Ivins, Jon Stewart, and Tina Fey come to mind. Al Franken was made in Minnesota.
That bicentennial spirit is walking o'er the land. It's an old story. Two hometown boys leave, they make good, and then return home to the sound of applause. It is the story of Al Franken and Tom Davis. The show they've written.
In the 1970s, Al and his partner Tom Davis sharpened their talent on Brave New Workshop stages here in Minneapolis and Saturday night at NBC in New York. Well, that was happening when I first met them, when I was into alternative television at University Community Video.
You think I should resign, don't you? Well,
That's Al playing Dick Dixon to Tom's Kissinger. Even then, Al Franken's comedy had a point to it. It was spot on about some pretty awful stuff.
I'm innocent. I'm telling you, Henry, I had nothing to do with the bugging of Watergate.
Al Franken's compass has always pointed to a better America. And in a sense, he's kind of a first responder to the high crimes and malarkey in Washington. He's going to be a great senator.
Al Franken grew up in a pretty regular St. Louis Park, Minnesota neighborhood with his mom and dad. Here's where they lived. This fall, it's got a Franken for Senate sign on the lawn. But back in 1976, when Al and Tom took time off from Saturday Night Live to write a local comedy review, who could have predicted the track of Al's career? The books, speeches, and films, Air America Network, and a run for the U.S. Senate.
Tom and Alan, you're husking corn for me.
I bet his mom could.
Is Al Franken fit for office?
Now, when those attack ads come on, remember that Al Franken's humor, even when it was a bit raw, was sparked by his passion for social justice. Al has a family. They are sweet, caring people. But the Frankens, heck, all of us, are blasted daily by obscenities and smears.
This ad gets a D-.
The attacks on Al, the bizarre distortions, have been discredited.
People out of control.
The campaign for Coleman is creepy, but we've got to move on and get Al Franken into the Senate.
Norm's got to go. He's got to go.
Hi, I'm Paul Wellstone, and I'm running for the United States Senate from Minnesota.
Al Franken knew and was profoundly inspired by Paul and Sheila Wellstone. The green bus that 18 years ago took Paul throughout Minnesota ended up taking him all the way to the U.S. Senate. Whenever I see Al in person, well, I'm reminded of Paul's big heart and his passion for regular people, for justice and the promise of America.
6 years ago, Paul Wellstone was about to be reelected to the Senate.
Al Franken now carries that torch.
Mr. USA pageant.
I'd like to thank Cara DeVito and Tom Davis for finding the lost black and white video we did in 1976. Thanks also to Media Mike.
And I think you'll get into the spirit of the thing when you hear that music coming over the
Jeff, that video was simply awesome. Thanks for showing it to us here.
Well, 1976 is a long time ago, but you know, Al is still the great guy he was back then, and he's going to be a great senator.
We're looking forward to that. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
This September 19th will be the 40th anniversary of the evening that Franken and I met at a freshman college mixer. We've been partners ever since. And when we decided to make this effort, I called our friends and I said, Franny and I are running for the Senate. And if we win, I get to be the senator. Yes. Well, honey, I get to be the senator.
Yes.
This was an historically close race. But it wouldn't have been if it weren't for Franny.
All right.
I would have lost. By kind of a lot.
Democratic Visions is handmade in Eden Prairie and Minnetonka by DFL Senate District 42. Democratic Visions can also be seen on our website, dflsd42.org.